The Joker, The Dark Knight.
I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. It's gone.
Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight is a psychopathic anarchist, a criminal mastermind from Gotham who thrives on chaos simply for the sake of it. What makes him so unsettling is that he has no consistent backstory. One moment, he says his father gave him his scars. The next, he blames himself. This was intentional, actually. Director Christopher Nolan and writer David Goyer wanted him to remain an unknowable force of nature, like the shark in Jaws. Money, power, or ideology mean nothing to him. When he burns a mountain of cash, he simply says, "Everything burns." His worldview is pure nihilism. Clinically, he aligns with antisocial personality disorder, pathological lying, a total lack of empathy, no respect for rules, and finding amusement in other people's pain. His crimes are never just crimes. The bank heist, the ferries rigged with bombs, and Harvey Dent's corruption, all part of a larger game of psychological warfare. He wants to prove that Gotham's heroes, no matter how noble, can fall. By dragging Batman, Gordon, and Dent into chaos, he aims to destroy the city's hope from within. Even when Batman finally catches him, the Joker doesn't really lose. He manages to make Batman break his moral code and causes Dent's death, showing that chaos always wins in the end. Nolan never reveals what happens to him after, leaving his fate unknown. There are theories that he might have been executed before The Dark Knight rises, but officially, his chaos remains undefeated. Homelander, The Boys. Homelander, whose real name is John Gilman, isn't some alien hero from another world. He was actually created in a secret Vought American lab, using genetic material stolen from Stormfront, mixed with years of Compound V experiments. His childhood was spent locked away with a bomb strapped to him, just to keep him under control and prevent any escape. Growing up like that, with no real human connection, left him completely isolated. He never learned empathy or moral boundaries, and it shows in the way he thinks and acts. To the public, he's seen as this patriotic icon, the shining face of the Seven. But behind closed doors, he's a completely different person, narcissistic, power-hungry, vindictive, and utterly ruthless. He can be charming on the outside, but deep down he's emotionally hollow. He craves constant admiration and lives in fear of ever becoming irrelevant. His true darkness is revealed in his horrific actions, from rape and mass murder to using psychological terror to control and intimidate not just individuals, but entire nations. In the Season 4 finale, he takes his evil to a whole new level by orchestrating a presidential coup, imposing martial law, and turning America into his own superpowered dictatorship. No one has truly defeated him yet. His rule sets up the major conflict for the final season, as the story now focuses on how to resist his brutal reign. Homelander's greatest darkness lies in what he's become. A manufactured hero turned tyrant, someone with unlimited power and absolutely no conscience. Darth Vader. Star Wars. Darth Vader's story starts long before he wore the black mask. He was born as Anakin Skywalker, a slave boy on Tatooine who was discovered by Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn. The Jedi believed he was the chosen one, destined to bring balance to the Force. But his early life was full of trauma. Being separated from his mother and growing up with so much power created deep fears and intense attachments within him. Anakin always struggled with his emotions. He showed traits like impulsiveness, fear of abandonment, and uncontrolled anger, which are the signs of borderline and narcissistic tendencies. These made him easy to manipulate. His secret relationship with Padme only added to his inner chaos, especially since love was forbidden for Jedi. Sensing his vulnerability, Chancellor Palpatine took advantage of it. He promised Anakin the power to save Padme from dying, twisting his fears into loyalty. In the end, Anakin betrayed the Jedi. He killed younglings and turned against his friends. After a brutal fight with Obi-Wan Kenobi, he was left physically destroyed and mentally broken. From that moment on, he became Darth Vader, a Sith Lord trapped in black armor, his old self buried deep inside. As Vader, he became the Empire's enforcer, using his Force choke and lightsaber without mercy to spread fear across the galaxy. His darkest acts included slaughtering innocent children and turning his back on everything he once believed in. Yet, his story didn't end with pure evil. In Return of the Jedi, during his final battle with his son Luke, Vader chose to save his son and turned against Emperor Palpatine. He died from his injuries, but in that moment, he found redemption, ending his life not as a monster, but as a father who finally did the right thing. Light Yagami. Death Note. Light Yagami is a genius high school student in Japan who finds the Death Note, a notebook dropped by the Shinigami Ryuk. With it, he decides to rid the world of criminals and become its godlike ruler under the name Kira. At first, he genuinely believes he's making the world better, thinking it's okay to sacrifice a few lives for the greater good. His sharp mind, confidence, and charisma help him manipulate everyone around him, including other Death Note users and even the Shinigami. But as time goes on, his ideals twist into pure arrogance and cruelty. He starts seeing himself as perfect and shows no remorse for killing innocent people who get in his way, like the FBI agents tracking him. His worst trait becomes clear. In the end, Light is caught in a trap set by El's successor. Mortally wounded and exposed in front of the task force, he tries to run, but Ryuk writes his name in the Death Note, just as he once warned. Light dies alone and defeated. His reign of terror ends there. But his twisted ideas live on through followers who continue to worship Kira. Light's greatest strength was his brilliant mind and unbreakable resolve. His greatest darkness was letting those gifts turn him from a boy seeking justice into a tyrant who believed he was a god. Lord Voldemort, Harry Potter. Lord Voldemort, born as Tom Riddle Jr., came into the world unloved. His mother, Merope Gaunt, was a witch from Salazar Slytherin's bloodline, and his father was a muggle who abandoned them. Growing up in an orphanage without any affection left Tom cold and bitter. As he discovered his magical powers, his hatred for his muggle heritage only grew stronger. From early on, he showed signs of narcissism and cruelty, seeing himself as superior to everyone else. At Hogwarts, he was charming on the surface, but deeply manipulative underneath. He opened the Chamber of Secrets to attack Muggle-born students and began creating Horcruxes to make himself immortal, driven by an intense fear of death. As he transformed into Voldemort, he gathered followers called Death Eaters, spreading terror across the wizarding world. He murdered, tortured, and destroyed without a trace of empathy, obsessed with power and pure-blood dominance. His reign of terror ended during the Battle of Hogwarts. When Harry Potter disarmed him, Voldemort's own killing curse backfired because the Elder Wand never truly belonged to him. With all his Horcruxes destroyed, he finally died, leaving his soul shattered and trapped in limbo forever. Jigsaw, John Kramer.
Hello, Amanda. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
Who most people know as Jigsaw, was once just a regular man living somewhere in the US. He worked as a civil engineer and designed toys on the side. Life seemed stable until tragedy struck. During a robbery, his wife was badly injured, and they lost their unborn child. Not long after, John was diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor. Everything he believed in fell apart. He tried to end his own life, but when he survived, something changed inside him. He felt like life had abandoned him, and he became obsessed with making others realize how precious it really was. In his mind, people were wasting their lives, so he created deadly traps to force them to fight for survival. These traps were gruesome and painful, designed to make victims harm themselves to escape. John believed that only through such suffering could people truly value life again. To him, he wasn't a killer. He saw himself as someone cutting away a person's weaknesses so their will to live could shine through. With his engineering skills and sharp mind, he built traps tailored to each person's flaws: greed, cowardice, carelessness. He planned everything with terrifying precision. Over time, he brought in apprentices like Amanda, Hoffman, and Lawrence Gordon, hoping they'd carry on his beliefs. In the end, his life was cut short when Jeff Denlon slit his throat in Saw 3. But death didn't stop his twisted legacy. His apprentices, recordings, and brutal ideology kept his games alive. Michael Myers, Halloween. Michael Myers was born on October 19, 1957, in Haddonfield, Illinois. When he was just 6 years old, he did something no one could ever understand. On Halloween night in 1963, he murdered his teenage sister. After that, he was locked away in Smith's Grove Sanitarium. From that day on, Michael barely spoke a word. He grew up hidden behind a plain white mask, originally a Captain Kirk mask, but changed to look empty and soulless. People didn't even call him by his name anymore. To them, he became the Shape, the embodiment of pure evil. No one ever really understood what went on in his mind. There were hints of nightmares and a dark voice telling him to hate people. It's as if he never saw others as real, like they were just shadows in his world. His killings weren't random either. They were ritualistic and always happened on Halloween. Sometimes he would even write "Samhain in blood," tying his violence back to ancient dark rituals. 15 years after his first murder, Michael escaped. He returned to Haddonfield, quietly stalking teenagers and killing them with brutal force. He didn't have a clear reason. It was like he was driven by something beyond human, an unstoppable need to kill. Dr. Loomis, his doctor, said it best. Michael was purely and simply evil. What made Michael truly terrifying was his silence. He never spoke, never showed any emotion, and never explained why he did what he did. He was just there, an emotionless force that hunted and killed without hesitation. His story ends differently depending on which movie you watch. In most of them, he survives being shot, stabbed, or burned, always coming back for more. But in Halloween Ends, 2022, Laurie Strode finally kills him for good, and his body is destroyed in an industrial shredder. Even with his end, Michael Myers remains one of horror's darkest legends. Ramsay Bolton, Game of Thrones. Ramsay Bolton was a man shaped by cruelty. Born in the north of Westeros as the illegitimate son of Roose Bolton and a miller's wife he raped, Ramsay grew up under a dark cloud of entitlement and violence. Even as a boy, there was something deeply twisted in him. He didn't just hurt people for power, he enjoyed it. Flaying captives alive, hunting humans with his dogs, torturing Theon Greyjoy into complete submission. None of this was for strategy. It was a pleasure. Psychologically, Ramsay was a disturbing mix of narcissism and antisocial disorder. He craved dominance, felt nothing for others, and only felt truly alive when he was inflicting pain. This need for control ran deep. Part of it was his heritage. Part was his desperate desire to prove himself to his father. His darkest acts came out in the Battle of the Bastards. He killed Rickon Stark for sport, shooting him down as he ran for his life. He ordered massacres without a hint of hesitation. His true strength was his unpredictable, sadistic mind. Raping Sansa, breaking Theon piece by piece, wielding fear like a blade. This was Ramsay's true power. But his reign of terror ended in the most fitting way. After Jon Snow defeated him, Sansa Stark delivers brutal justice by locking him in the kennels, letting his own starving hounds tear him apart. In that final moment, everything he had done came back to haunt him. That monster got exactly what he deserved, a harsh and fitting death. But who would expect that even after death, some horrors refuse to stay buried and return in an even deadlier form? Click the video on your screen now to explore fiction's deadliest zombie pandemics explained in 12 minutes.